what it do, what it do. This vlog was taken on, I believe it was March the 27th. It's either the 26th or the 27th, and this was a couple days before my top hop passed. And it was somewhere where he wanted me to go. Like, he was adamant about me going. I'll drive you myself, because he wanted me to get this break away. And come to find out, it was really what I needed to be able to face what was coming up in the next couple of days and how his decline was. And what I'm sharing in this clip, this 9-minute little clip, is we had to speak, and I didn't even know we were going to have to speak, so I was really not prepared, but I came through and I talked about the air cycle. Of course, in my air method, A is adapt, I is do the inner work, and R is the repeat. And I like to call when you go through a life experience where you have to do those things an air cycle. And I was explaining to them through my story of an air cycle. So I hope you guys enjoy this 9-minute clip. Leave some comments, subscribe if you like, and let's just take this journey of resilience together and keep growing, keep improving ourselves, keep delving into personal development, and that ultimately is going to turn out to be more personal growth all around and just build us up to where we need to be.
So in January of 2020, my oldest got into a car accident, and I found out about this accident by being asleep. I usually talk to him every night just to make sure he's home, and at 10 o'clock he called me and told me I'm on my way home. I went to bed. At about midnight, my 22-year-old comes and he knocks on the door and he says, "Mom, you have to get up. Kai's been in a really bad accident." So at first, I was like, okay, let me adapt to that. Let me adjust to it and hear what he said. I said, "Repeat that." He said, "Kai's been in a really bad accident. She need to get up." So as I'm getting up, I'm adjusting. And I'm doing the inner work because I know I have to keep myself calm in order to do what I need to do to find out where he is. Everything went fine with my son. The accident just prepared me for my own journey in 2021 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Again, I had to adapt. I had to do that inner work to actually heal myself. And if you look today, you can't even tell I had cancer. But I had breast cancer, went through 12 weeks of chemo, 20 radiation therapy sessions, and I'm here today. All of this going on while being a caregiver to my 21-year-old who has cerebral palsy. So with all the adapting, doing the inner work, I've learned that I can repeat and do the same thing with every situation that comes into my life. And we all can do that. We can adapt to anything that happens. Because if you think about it, you're doing that anyway. You do it all day long. You do the inner work. You self-reflect. You do your shadow work. You make sure that you are good. You do the self-care. You heal your traumas. And you repeat it. You proceed to do an air cycle. So that's what I like to, I guess that's my closing. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm still working on it.
What's the time? 2:18. 2 minutes, 18 seconds, okay? What did you love?
I love that it was very personal. I felt like I felt your story. Yeah, I felt your personality. So
I like the tone of your voice when you're telling your story. It makes me want to just know more. And even though you gave details, I want to know more because this is a phenomenal woman. That's what I come out with.
Soothing voice.
Great energy.
Yeah.
Good energy.
Okay, and what can she do to make it even better?
Use the stage.
yes.
And go in and look at people and let them see your pain.
Pause before saying so. Pause. And one thing I learned yesterday, I learned if you close your mouth, you don't use filler words. I learned that yesterday.
Close your mouth, you use fewer words.
To avoid filler words, close your mouth.
Filler. Okay, got it. Awesome. Anybody else? Somebody else? Dr. Emoji, and then
You shared with us that this is what you were about to do. I'm gonna tell you 3 stories instead of just telling us 3 stories.
Okay.
That's my feedback.
Yep. Naomi.
You opened with a question to the audience, but you did not give us a second to even answer your question. So you just went straight, keep on, you answered your own question. I think you missed an opportunity for some audience participation by asking us to respond to it. You can give us, a couple seconds, raise your hand.
To the question part of it, for me, you opened with a question that didn't necessarily connect with everybody necessarily, so it was a closed question. And if somebody was like, no, I never did that, then you've lost that person. So I would have liked to have just had you start in the story instead of kind of opening with that kind of question.
Okay.
That's a great point. That's a really good point because, you can even say, raise your hand if you've ever, what was the question? What was the question?
Have you ever had any experiences where you've had to actually stop and just
Right. So you might say, raise your hand if you've ever been through a life challenge that made you just stop and realize you just gotta take a breath. Okay.
That's a better.
If you didn't raise your hand if you've ever been in a part of someone's life and they were going through something challenging and you had to encourage them to just stop and take a breath. Now you got everybody in the room.
Yep.
Because you can't tell me that you ain't either been through something or been by somebody's side and they've been through something. And you had to console them.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very, very valid point. I love, first of all, we twinsies. Did y'all remember that?
It wasn't planned, it wasn't planned.
It wasn't planned.
I was like, I got that with the shoes. The shoes. Started 2022. And she actually did her very first speaking engagement ever on the GSU stage. Great. I think you have great energy. I think your story is so profound. I love how you shared. I would not have used the 3 minutes to try to build in the air cycle to that.
Okay.
Because you took away from how powerful and potent your story is.
Okay.
I would rather you take that whole 3 minutes and don't, because here's my thought. My thought was, yeah, you created this air cycle now, and you know that you gotta stop and you gotta breathe. But how many of us really know that when we're going through the thing? When my sister called me and told me my nephew was gone, that he had just died in a motorcycle crash, I wasn't thinking about no air method. I wasn't thinking about breathing. I was thinking, oh my God, no, this can't be right. This can't. Like you almost, it's like an out of body experience when you get certain news. I can't imagine you being fully in control when the doctor told you had breast cancer. Maybe later, a little bit later, you're like, okay, look, I gotta collect myself. So it felt like you were creating this perfect little bubble. When you get the news, just breathe. After you breathe, do this. After you do this, then do that. And that's not life. So I want you to take a step back from, I know you want to share the air method with me, but you can do that in the rest of the speech.
Okay.
But I would rather you give me your raw, authentic voice trembling when you got that notice that, what? My son has been in a car accident. I don't understand. What are you saying? What do you mean? Is he alive? Is he not alive? Where is he? I would rather be that.
Okay.
Then you trying to build in this framework. You can tell me the framework later.
Okay.
Because every part of the story is just
Powerful.
right. And then you need to take a breath as you go to the next thing and pause. I promise you, if you had paused and let that fall across the room, we probably had tears in our eyes. But you didn't even give us an opportunity to have the emotion because you went to the next thing.
Okay.
And so then you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to. And you got to think somebody in the room could be going through what you went through right now. They could have just gotten a diagnosis yesterday. So the connection is going to be, and this is, I don't know if this is how you feel, but if this has happened to you, if maybe you've gotten a diagnosis, if you got some bad news, or you felt like something was breaking down around you, ultimately, you're going to have to learn how to breathe and learn how to take in air and learn how to die. Now I understand, in the moment of it, that's probably not even gonna be your reality, because it wasn't mine. I felt like my world was crumbling. I don't understand how I could just go through this experience of my son being in this accident, and now here I am thinking that I've moved forward in my life. I'm 2 steps ahead, only to be knocked 5 steps back. Because now the doctor tells me I got breast cancer. And now I gotta prep myself to go through 12 weeks of chemo. Who's gonna take care of my son who's home, who I'm a caregiver for? Who's gonna do? You can take a deep dive into that and really pull us in and feel what you felt, even though we didn't personally experience it. Great job. Great job.
Yes.
All right.